Liz Donatelli. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance, the #1 romance novel talk show on YouTube. In today's episode, I chatted with historical romance author Joanna Lowell about her Victorian era romance, The Duke Undone. Joanna also talked about her research trip to London and explained corpulent cattle art. Then, I quizzed Joanna on her knowledge of Victorian slang. Enjoy, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hi, Joanna. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance.
Hi, Liz. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the success of your historical romance, The Duke Undone. The cover of the novel includes a blurb from New York Times bestselling historical romance author Eloisa James. How did that happen? Was she on your wish list of authors to get blurbs?
Yeah, she was, and my incredible agent reached out to her, and she's very, very busy, and I think many people know that in her life, other than romance, she's an English professor, and I'm also an English professor, and so even though she was English professoring and also chairing her department, I think possibly because I'm a fan and a fellow English professor, she said, I'm going to do it. And so she read the book, and she also corresponded with me directly, and it was a dream. It was a dream. Yeah, she wrote, woke up to an email from her saying that she loved the book, which was, among the most exciting moments of my life as a romance writer.
That's awesome. Did you print out the email and have it framed or put it somewhere safe?
I will, if I had a printer, and I hadn't been going to campus very much because our campus was locked down.
Right.
But it is starred, it is saved, it is there, it is going to be printed, it is going to be mounted on a wall. The Duke Undone is a Victorian romance, and it follows a young female painter, a student at the Royal Academy of Schools in London, who dreams of becoming an art star, an artistic celebrity. And she is unable to get the education that she would wish to have because of various barriers to women accessing all of the classes that men have at the Royal Academy. And one day she is on her way to a painting studio, and she stumbles upon a naked man in an alleyway, and she can't banish her form from his mind. And so she paints him in a sort of state of reverie. And she's an orphan who lives with her aunt, who runs a dressmaking shop. And they're in straitened circumstances. She's forced to sell the painting for money, for a new sewing machine, and for rent. And the painting ends up passing before the eyes of the man who was her muse, who happens to be a duke and is very displeased. And the story kind of takes off from there.
So that meet cute that you mentioned about Lucy stumbling over who she learns later is a duke, but she just thinks it's some naked dude who just, fell down drunk. When did that pop in your head? Was that the first thing you thought of? And you're like, I'm going to write a novel around this.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the genesis of the book. That was the first image that came to me. I grew up really loving pre-Raphaelite paintings. I had posters on the walls in my room of Ophelia and by Millais, and just various of those iconic, romantic, stormy canvases. And I would read about the pre-Raphaelite painters themselves, and they had torrid affairs with the women who modeled for them. And some of those women were artists in their own right, which you don't hear about. It's always this kind of relationship between the male genius and the female muse. And even though I was really drawn to that and I saw the romance in it, I had this this idea in the back of my mind, like, what if it was a female genius and a male muse? And so then it kind of became, that image of, what if, how would that happen? Because women, you didn't necessarily have the power to get some man to pose naked from you. That wasn't really how it works. So how would she have that opportunity? And so just imagining, what if she just stumbles upon this naked man? And then when I had that sort of crystallized, I thought, okay, I've got to go with this.
I have to say, even though I knew it wasn't, happily ever after, I knew they'd be together, I still got nervous that maybe they wouldn't. So I would like skip ahead in chapters just to see if everything looks okay. I was like, I don't know why I'm worried. I know it's going to end up with them together.
One of the things I love about romance is the happily ever after, like this contract between the writer and the reader. You know that the characters are going to have their like hard won intimate connection at the end. Maybe because of that, I think it gives you leave as a writer to really put people through the ringer and kind of like, just the barriers have to feel real, and they have to be internal to the characters' development as individuals, but also tie into what they're navigating together. And so I knew that I wanted this story to engage with issues of power, just like thinking about the various like layers of their social realities. He comes from power and privilege, but then has this very complicated family situation and has trauma from his time fighting in Afghanistan as a soldier, and she has a much stronger sense of herself, but she's grappling with instability in her housing situation, and so I wanted that class divide to be something that they had to negotiate, and thinking about their relative power positions and how I think romances do something really interesting, sort of showing the two main characters kind of playing with power, exposing power dynamics.
I found your writing so authentic to the time that I would not have been surprised to learn that you were either reincarnated from Victorian England or were like 140 years old. So are you either?
Yes, both. No, sadly, I wish I was 140 years old. That would make things easier. It was the best, I have to say. I got to go to London, to the Royal Academy itself in Burlington House, and the archivist of the Royal Academy School's library took me into the library room, showed me the sort of the ledgers with the minutes of the Royal academicians' meetings from the 19th century. I got to hold the petitions that the female students in the 1880s were writing and sending to the Royal academicians, demanding classes where they can paint from the nude or the partially draped figure. So I got to hold those documents, which was fabulous, and also see books that they would have given students with the schedules and the courses, and that sort of stuff, that you can't find on the internet. Like there's a lot that you can do, with Google. Google's, it's amazing to be able to look things up online, but it's hard to find stuff that just tells you what daily life was like. And so being able to just be in the space and to see what the classrooms looked like, to be in the place that students had, where Lucy and Kate and all of the students, it's where they would have been, like in these the antiques classroom, the canteen down the hall. So that was all really amazing. There were a couple of books there that were really useful, just laying out Royal Academy history, sort of what was going on. I also read a lot of books about municipal slum clearances, municipal acts and laws, the Torrens Act and the Cross Act, the sort of provided the social context under which her house is going to be destroyed. And so I read some books about the Board of Works and just sort of the kind of dodgy politics of government in London at that time.
I understand, based on your author's note in the back, that you discovered something called corpulent cattle art. What is that?
There are some cows you might have noticed in the Duke Undone. I really love cows. My brother has a beautiful cow named Blackberry, and she's just out there in the field converting sunlight into cream, just working away magically. So I always try to put cows in my books. And so I was really excited, to discover that, farmers would show their most splendid, heavily muscled, fat, large, gorgeous, cattle, and they would, have them commemorated with paintings, and people would make prints and circulate them. And so there are some very, very famous examples of it. The Durham ox is one that I think I mentioned in the author's note. I think there are lots of pubs that are still named after this very, very large, impressive kind of cube of an ox.
I found online a couple of pages from a book called Passing English of the Victorian Era, a dictionary of heterodox English, slang, and phrase. These are authentic phrases from the Victorian era, and I'm going to ask you to tell me what they mean. Got the morbs.
I would say an intense stomach upset as resulting from a porridge allergy.
You're wrong, but I love it.
No, I'm wrong.
It's a temporary melancholy. I got the morbs.
Oh, got the morbs. Of course. I'm 140, so it slipped my mind.
What is a mutton shunter?
I think that means police constable's side whiskers.
It's the police.
Exactly. That's what I meant.
I'll give it to you because you have an idea. Batty fang.
What is that? To batty fang is to trip over a perambulator, just to trip over a baby carriage in the street. I batty fanged. I don't know.
Honestly, I like your answer. To thrash thoroughly. Now, when they say thrash thoroughly, do they mean like a verbal thrashing or to like thrash like a physical act?
I bet it's a physical act.
Okay.
Like like you got the morbs, and then you went round the pub and batty fanged with
a mutton shunter.
With a mutton shunter.
Doing the bear, and that's BEAR.
I think doing the bear is when you go out naked in a boat at midnight.
You sound pretty confident giving me the answers. So I almost like, maybe I'm wrong. It means courting that involves hugging.
Oh,
so
really?
Doing the bear. So it's like referring to hugging that you do when you're with a lover.
We're going to promenade and then
do the bear.
Why did we do the bear?
Next word, mathicking.
Mathicking must be when you walk out, from Piccadilly Circus or someplace like that and just cause a massive traffic jam as a pedestrian.
I'm going to give this to you because I think this is close enough. Getting rowdy in the streets.
Yeah.
Let's see if you could get this one. Orf chump.
That is a person who eats the leftover pickled eels and pickled whelks from the street stalls.
Well, I'm impressed that you knew it had something to do with eating.
Oh, it does? That's awful. I'm so sorry that it does.
It does.
Sounds terrible.
It means no appetite.
Oh, well, I don't have an appetite after hearing that word or that phrase. It sounds terrible. Orf chump, like you're...
I'm orf chump.
I'm orf chump today. I'm so orf chump, I've got the morbs for miles.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Nanty narking.
Tattling on your younger siblings?
Not bad.
Sounds like
it means great fun.
Great. That is fun. I think that's fun.
Oh no, I'm not counting that. No.
Okay. Nanty narking time, batty fanging that mutton shunter, and then going mathicking. Which one of these would you bring back if you could bring back just one?
That is a great question. I would like to bring back Orf chump.
Orf chump. I don't even know how to use it. I'm a orf chump.
I think it would just be kind of like someone says, "Hey, would you like to try this pickled eel?" And I say, "Orf chump."
Sometimes there are things I do not want to eat, and if I could just say orf chump and people understood.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually,
Yeah.
I feel that. I think that might be the one. I agree.
Well, Joanna, it has been a lot of fun and such a pleasure to have you as a guest on Reader Seeks Romance.
Thank you. I've loved it. Thank you so much for having me. It was a complete Nanty, narking, baddie fanging, mafficking, doing the bearing kind of time.